Sir, the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Mr. Pritam Singh, has mentioned CMIO quite a number of times in his speech. In the light of this, can I ask our MCCY Minister, Mr. Edwin Tong, to share with us the relevance of CMIO today? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Workers' Party has on several occasions questioned the relevance or the continued relevance of having the CMIO classification, and has also called for it to be removed. Sir, but at the same time, at almost every parliamentary sitting, there are many number of PQs which focuses on individual specific races, looking at programs, outcomes, assistance. The point, though, of citing these parliamentary questions is to say that in reality, both sides of the House, and I think certainly on these examples, the Workers' Party as well, realize that it is important to look at these outcomes by segments of society. And it is only if you have the CMIO classification and breakdown that you will be able to track performance of relative segments of society, to gauge the outcomes, and to gauge ourselves the efficacy and outcomes of these programs that we have in place. So for example, the relevant ministries will give more full answer, I'm sure, in due course. But if you take some of the points raised in these PQs, we are able to say that the percentage of Malay P1 cohort going on to post-secondary education has doubled in the last 25 years. The number of Malay university graduates have doubled from 5.5% in 2010 to 10.8% in 2020. If you take the average Malay student, they were found on the PISA assessment in 2018 to have scored higher, above the OECD average of a typical Malay student in Singapore. And Malay students also outperform international students in the same PISA assessment on 21st century competencies. This gives us, Mr. Speaker, a good gauge of not just the relative performance of the segments in our society, but also on the efficacy of our programs, and allows us to look at relative outcomes, to assess where there might be gaps, and to help in targeted, specialized, curated ways.
We want to level everybody up so that no race feels that that government policy doesn't reach out to them in a way which brings us to that destination which the Workers' Party wants Singapore to reach, of a race-neutral society. So these questions inevitably will be asked, but I think the point I want to share with Minister Edwin Tong is, to what end do we keep asking these questions?
Mr. Speaker, I thank the Leader of the Opposition for making those points. I think just to pick up on his last comment, to look at the outcomes and to see whether or not we can improve certain segments in society in Singapore, and to look at whether the programs help to uplift them. Would he not accept that if you are looking at how to uplift certain segments by race, which we have done, then would that not mean that the CMIO classification would not only be relevant, it would in fact be necessary to retain this distinction, at least for now, until we reach post-racial, race-blind or race-neutral society. Thank you.